Hello everybody. In this short video, I'd like to talk about the resources that you have at your disposal to learn APA formatting. I'd also like to talk about how to create a table and a graphic object in Word, that graphic object using the Shapes tool, something that's pretty simple to do and will come in handy for creating your directed graph. First of all, resources for APA formatting. If you go to the Library tab in our class, you will find something called APA Guide and Resources in the middle here. And there are three key documents inside here. The first, when you click on this CSU Global Guide to Writing an APA Requirements document, is this document. I'm sure most of you are familiar with it. It's very long. It's very detailed. It has everything you need to know. Everything you need to know about APA formatting if you're willing to read it. There's a couple other documents that are much shorter and I find to be very handy. Here is one. Let's see. It's called, let's back up. What is it called? It's called, Does Your Paper Look Like This? I believe that's it. Yes. Does your paper look like this? Oh, yeah. It says it. Okay. What this does is it has a document formatted in APA style, and there's these little pointers, these little bubbles that tell you all about everything you need to know to format, talking about the different pieces and how they're done. So if you just look through this, you can see real quickly how to do all the things you need to do. I'm going to come back to this one, but first I want to point out one other document. It's this one. This is the one called ATA Template Paper, and it's another example done in Word. The other one was a PDF document that describes how to create a document in APA. And you can look through here and see all the different headings and the levels. And there's not much in the middle, but the references is done very well with all the different types of references. Both those are handy and they're much quicker than having to read the entire APA document without falling asleep. So let's put those away. I want to come back to this. Does your document look like this? Of particular use to us this week is how to format a figure and a table. Let's see, as I come down here through the document, I'm going to find, first of all, a figure. Here they created a figure. And if you look here on this page and read these things, they tell you what you do. You put the figure in, and then underneath it, you type figure 1 in italics, and you give some information, and they describe what that information is. Doesn't have to be real detailed. You'll probably reference our book or our assignment, something like that. Also in here is an example of a table. And here's the table. And let's see, there's the top of the page. This is in the header, right? That's called the running head. So the first thing you do for a table is type table and give it a number. Don't forget to reference that table in your paper and that table number. And then we have the title, we have the table itself, and then once again, we put something called a note underneath it. Kind of like we did in the figure, but that's where we had the title, I guess, in the figure here. And the blue box here tells you what should go in there. I'm back in Word now, and you notice I have the Office button here, which means this is Word 2007. And now I'm going to create a table and a figure, just like you might do in your paper. So let's see, if I look at our assignment, that CT week 2, we have 2 columns and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rows. And so I'm going to go Insert, click on the table, and I need 2 columns and 8 rows, right about like that. And now I can start creating it. I can say, oh, I can learn to type, then I can type player, and let's see, defeated. And then I could put all the people's names in. You can modify this by changing column widths as appropriate. Oh, if you're good at this stuff, there's also a button here called Auto Fit that will squeeze it down to make just the widest item fit in there. Notice I'm a good word processor. I have my Show Hide button turned on, but it makes all these little funny marks, which don't show up when you print. Okay. Now I want to create, let's see, this is my table, and I was supposed to put something at the top, wasn't I? Yeah, so now I'm going to try to get up to the top of my table. And I'm going to insert table 1. And let's see, what is this? This is, well, I would put a descriptive name on here for, what are we showing here? Shoo. Sorry about that little brain spasm. We might call this problem data CT2. I don't know. I'm making stuff up. I'm sure you'll do better. Math 109. Because that's what we did at the top of the table, right? That's what they told us to do. Okay. So I fill my table out. Now I want to put my figure in. So I'm going to start my figure right there. And what I'm going to do is use the Shapes tool. So I'm going to use Insert, Shapes, and I'm going to start with, no, I take it back. I'm going to start with a text box. I want a simple text box, and there I'm going to put my first person's name in, Carla. And I'm going to size this text box so it's a little bit smaller. And I'm going to move it right up here. And now it's selected. I'm going to do a Control-C for copy, and then click off and do a Control-V. I'll have my second text box. Click on, copy, click off, Control-V to paste, and I have my third text box, or you can do them one at a time. I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to have 3 text boxes, and of course I'd want to change these names. Let's say we had Carla, Rob, and the third one will say Tanya. Those were the first 3 names that you had in your assignment. And now to draw some arrows, I'm going to do Insert, Shapes, and choose from the lines the arrow button with a single head, a single click on there, and now I've got a crosshair, and I can go from Tanya to Carla. And now I'm going to do a Control-C for copy and a Control-V several times to get me some more lines. And now I'm going to move them around. I'm not sure, of course, where these go would all be dependent on the problem, and you're going to have to make that decision. But I'm just going to move them around so their bases are at places that might be appropriate, and then I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to click and point them to other places. Click on them, grab that. That's right, and maybe this one's turned around. Should really go the other way. You get the idea. Clean up, delete a couple of these things. And there I have a quick and dirty directed graph. Labeled points. Labeled vertices and edges. I hope that helps. Let me know. Give me a holler. Shoot me an email. I'm here, folks.